Well, this is going to be quite an interesting video. As you know, Archfiend, of all people, ended up making a video on me recently about some of the hate that this channel gets still. And I thought it was a very interesting video, and he made a lot of great points in that video. And it was kind of the first time I was compelled to actually do a video like this in response because I feel maybe now is the time to actually do something like this. I've many times in the past I've wanted to do a video like this and talk about some of the things I want to talk about in this video. But one of the reasons is I don't feel that I'm really good just riffing in front of the camera. Um, you know, I personally feel it's not my strong point, so I've never really done it. But I guess with his video, it kind of lit a fire under my butt to actually make one of these things, and maybe kind of talk about some of the stuff that I've been hush hush on for so many years. But yeah, in this video, I'm going to talk about a lot of things. I'm going to talk about, first of all, how I got started in this, on YouTube. So let's rewind this thing all the way back to 2006. Okay, so that was, what, 8 years ago? And back then, what I was doing these videos called Haunted Investigators. It was a ghost hunting show that I was uploading to YouTube that was very interesting to me. And, when I was posting those things online, they were getting, mediocre views on them. And one of the big things on YouTube back in that day were these things called angry reviews of old video games. I mean, it was the in thing that I just stumbled across. And that first night, I was just like, wow, this is so cool. I really found something that I was inspired by. And, of course, James was doing it. There was a host of others. I found Armake, I think is how you pronounce that. But yeah, there was just a host of others that I subscribed to and watched. And, I didn't start right away. I didn't start doing reviews in 2006. But that's when I started watching this stuff. And I even emailed, James and Armake and said, hey, I love how you review this stuff. Of course, they never wrote back to me, but in my own mind, I thought, man, it'd be cool to kind of get popular on YouTube one day and do a collab with these people because, they do a great job. And, of course, I was doing the ghost videos. And for the longest time, I did want to do these type of reviews, but I didn't want to step on any toes. I didn't want to do what everybody else was doing. I just didn't want to because I knew it would lead to, all the crap that happened over the next few years. But actually, there was one catalyst that changed my mind. One thing that I ran across on YouTube that told me, hey, it wouldn't be a bad idea to do just that. And during that time, I had run across a video that somebody had posted because, yeah, there was James doing his angry reviews and just a bunch of other people doing them as well. There's over 100. And one person asked him, he said, do you mind that you have so many people doing the exact same thing that you're doing? And James actually responded to this video, or I'm sorry, he responded to this email saying, yeah, I find it very flattering. I don't care, if a bunch of people do this. It's awesome. He felt very honored by this. And the guy actually posted a video of this email that he got back from James. So I ended up seeing this and I'm like, maybe I would, I want to do one of these. I think it would be very fun. I think it would be very cool to do a review in that same manner. So, yeah, it's 2007. March, and I sit down and I'm like, what do I do? Back to the Future. I've always hated this game. Let's do Back to the Future. So that was my first review. And a lot of the jokes in there, yeah, they're corny, they're stupid. Some stuff I borrowed from other reviews because I didn't know what else to do. It was my very first review. So I threw that together, posted it online. Maybe 5 people watched it. I mean, it wasn't very popular. But, me and my circle of friends, I was like, hey, look at this. I think it's funny. And, it's in the same vein that everybody else is doing. And, they laughed at it. I laughed at it. And I made a couple other videos. And, it just, Waldo, Where's Waldo? I did Goonies. And it was all done in the same type of manner. I would work in the morning, do the stuff in my free time, post it online. And, me and my friends would laugh at it. So then, around the summertime, there was this thing on game trailers called the Out-Nerd the Nerd contest. And, by this time, I had maybe 100 fans subscribed to my channel. And a lot of these fans were in the know. They knew everything that was going down. And they told me about this Out-Nerd the Nerd contest. And they're like, hey, you should enter your stuff into the contest because it's really, you do a great job with editing and all this stuff. You're skilled. Maybe you get some more views that way. Because, yeah, my videos had like maybe 200 views at this point. A drop in the bucket compared to what they were, in months that follow. We'll get to that. But, yeah, I even had somebody from game trailers actually email me and say, hey, you should enter into this contest. So, over that summer, and you'll even see on the videos that a lot of my videos were just, quickly banged out that summer. And I submitted all these into that Out-Nerd the Nerd contest. And, of course, I used some of his, I should say a lot of his personality traits and whatnot and threw those into the video to out-nerd him, basically. Because that's what the rules of the contest were. And, I submitted them. I had people from game trailers be like, oh, my God, these are great. You're going to win if you enter and all this other stuff. So, yeah, I submitted all this stuff. And after that, I found out that another guy won. His name was the Happy Nerd, I guess. And I watched the video and I said to myself, you've got to be kidding me. This is what won the contest? It was nothing like the nerd. And, I was kind of miffed by that. Because I put a lot of hard work and energy into this. And, I thought I was a lock for the winner. Well, I later found out that the contest was rigged. And I'm sure James had a hand in actually picking the winner. And, of course, that was kind of the first time he, kind of snuffed me at that point. But I was like, okay, well, whatever. So, I kept making reviews. And I made the Mario review and then the Muscle review. And at some point, I ended up getting featured on YouTube. Now, when you get featured on YouTube back in 2007, this was a big deal. You showed up everywhere. You showed up at the side of the pages. You showed up on the front page. You showed up absolutely everywhere. Every nook and cranny of YouTube, you popped up. And that's exactly what happened. Now, let me explain a little in detail the pecking order of YouTube reviewers on YouTube in 2007. Now, there was indeed a pecking order. James was at the top with 25,000 subscribers. The next tier, the second popular game reviewer was Archfiend, and he had about 5,000 subscribers. Okay, so there's a huge gap in between these two guys. Now, underneath him, there were 3 guys, 3,000 subscriber tier. The one guy was Fat Man Cometh. Another guy was, what was his name? I want to say Jedite, and another guy that I can't remember. Then underneath them, there are, I'd say, maybe about 10 people with 2,000 subscribers. There's people like Slide Dog Studios, Acoustic Rocker, I think Spoony One was in there somewhere, and so on and so forth. And then you had a lot of guys in the 1,000 tier mark. And, you know, again, you had people like Play It Bogart. You know, I watched all these dudes, so I know a lot of the names. And then, of course, underneath that, you had all the guys underneath 1,000 subscribers trying to get to that 1,000 subscriber point. And there was maybe 200 people doing these type of reviews. And, of course, I was probably 201 way down there with my measly 200 subscribers. So, okay, now that you know that, so yes, I ended up getting featured, and overnight, and I didn't realize I was going to get featured. I woke up and saw my email box flooded with emails. I look at my video. The video went from like 200 views to 10,000. This was overnight. My subscriber count, which was in the 200s, went up into the... I went from 200 subscribers to 11,000 subscribers almost overnight. I flipped out. This just did not happen back in 2007. And like I said, James had 25,000 subscribers. Armake had 5,000. I was now at 11,000. I was now the second most popular reviewer on YouTube. And that doesn't go unnoticed, especially by those 200 other people that had been on YouTube for a whole year. And this was the entire subscriber base that they were able to pick up during that time. So, what happened? Now, all these reviewers start looking at my videos, saying, who the hell is this guy? Where did this guy come from? I had only been on YouTube for maybe about 3-4 months. And all my stuff was basically what everybody else had been doing that whole time. Now remember, I was also doing the Out-Nerd, the nerd contest. I was doing this stuff for my friends. You know, I didn't really take this stuff seriously. But these 200 other subscribers, so these 200 other YouTube reviewers look at my stuff, see that every single one of my videos now has, you know, over 20,000 views on them, because the Mario review ended up getting featured, and people wanted to see what else I have done. So yeah, the view count exploded all across the board. And of course, these other YouTubers check out my videos, and they're like, what the hell? Everything this guy does is a lift from me or James. Well, yeah, of course it was. I mean, I had 200 subscribers. I didn't take this thing seriously. So now I become the #1 villain that everybody is gunning after. They want my blood. So these other guys they start making videos on me. They start, you know, calling me every name in the book. And yeah, so then all their followers are like, what the hell is this about? So then they trash me. They make videos. And so I just have, you know, the hate just piled. There was just hate piled upon hate, piled upon hate. It was very unreal and very surreal, actually. So now there's a dilemma that I have to deal with. You know, what do I do at this point? Because now I have 11,000 people subscribe to me. They want more. But I have a huge hater base over here going, this guy sucks. How did he get popular? What the hell? And, I'm in the middle of it all going, yikes, what do I do? So, I ended up taking psychology and philosophy in college. So I thought the best thing I should do is just shut up. I didn't say one damn word about anything. And, I've kind of maintained that silence to today. So, yeah, I had 11,000 subscribers, and I thought, well, now I've got a fan base. This is pretty neat. I guess I'm going to make more reviews. And don't tell me that not one of you out there want to do the exact same thing, because that is a complete friggin' lie. I know damn well that anyone with 11,000 subscribers gained overnight half of what James had would keep continuing doing what they were doing. And that's exactly what I did. So after that happened, it seemed like right away, another one of my videos ended up getting featured. It was the muscle review. That was the second video that got featured. And it was maybe like 2 weeks later that video ended up getting featured. And if you thought these other 200 reviewers were pissed then, oh, now they're super pissed now. Because for one, I was the very first reviewer that had ever gotten featured on YouTube. James had never been featured. Armake has never been featured. And I had been featured not once, but twice. So now, if the hate wasn't enough, it just poured on. So haters were coming out of the woodwork. And they just weren't hating. But they were also really dragging my name through the mud and spreading lies and rumors and stuff that just was not true. And it was a crazy time. Even at certain points, haters had even said that every single one of those 11,000 subscribers were me doing sock puppet accounts. I just thought that was so ludicrous. Like, I sit there for hours and hours and hours creating 10,000. Man, I wish I had that much time. And it's funny too, because my mom actually gets on YouTube and watches my stuff and interacts with some of the fans, and people say, "Oh, even that is Irate gamer." They even accused my friend Eric, who shows up in the videos. They accused him of being me at certain points. But yeah, stuff like that. It's like, what? Where do they come up with this stuff? But, one of the people's opinions that really mattered to me was a person that they said I was copying from. So I wanted to reach out to James Rolfe personally and say, look, I just want to clear the air. I did not copy you on purpose. You were an inspiration. And a couple other things I can't remember right now. But that's basically, I sent him an email saying all this stuff, hoping to clear the air and just, extend an olive branch to this guy and say, look, I don't feed into this, whatever these guys are saying, because it's not true. And I just want to make sure that you don't think it's true. So I sent this email off to him, and I ended up getting a reply from him. And interestingly enough, he kind of had a set of demands that he wanted from me that said, I'm okay with this, but I want you to publicly acknowledge that I was your inspiration. I want it in black and white, and I want it done in this manner. And so I didn't reply right away. But I woke up one morning and saw that the email that I sent him was posted online. Since I did not write back, he posted it online. And I was devastated. Here was a guy that I looked up to who was a huge inspiration. And, he did this. And I just thought it was, a very douchebag move. And I lost all respect from that guy from then on. I stopped watching his reviews. I made it a point never to talk about him again, which I guess I'm breaking now. But yeah, from then on, I was like, I saw what kind of guy I was dealing with. And, it really hurt my feelings back then. Yeah, I know, where. But, yeah, I just, I knew at that point just what I was dealing with. And, and I didn't want to say anything, of course, because that's just not the way I am. But it was kind of frustrating when all these people were just coming out of the woodwork saying that, Chris Boris, Irate Gamer, is such an asshole, douchebag. He's in it for the money. There's something I've never heard since James did that Kickstarter. Chris Boris is in it for the money. That all went away after that. But yeah, they were saying all these things about me when I knew what this guy did. I mean, I couldn't live with myself doing that to somebody else. I'm a very religious person in my personal life, and I don't think anybody's really seen that side of me, because the Irate Gamer is just it's a shtick, it's a character, and I guess in some ways I can understand. I mean, here's a guy who's sitting at 25,000 subscribers. A guy gets half of this in one weekend, and he keeps catching up. After I got featured the second time, I ended up jumping up to 16,000 subscribers when James was at 29,000 subscribers. So here I ended up surpassing the halfway point of how many subscribers he had. So I was, gaining on him, and maybe I was considered a threat at that time. So I guess I get it in some weird way, but still, there's better ways to handle things like that. But yeah, so my next review was the Tetris review. And now, of course, I had my 16,000 subscribers to my name. When I posted that, within the first 2 days, that video ended up becoming the number 7th video on all of YouTube. That just blew my mind. And within that first day, I almost had 100,000 views. That was insane. So at this point, I kept making videos. Haters kept doing their thing, and I kept dropping lower on that the top 100 YouTube channel list, and I ended up getting into the 55th most subscribed channel at one point, which was very cool. But yeah, I kept making videos, and I was trying to do two things. I was trying to find my own voice and try to do my own thing with special effects and storylines and all this thing and all that. But at the same time, I was trying to keep the flavor of what I was doing, because people were like, oh, this is what I subscribed to you for. I want more of this. So I was trying to do two things, and of course, when you do that, it's a double-edged sword. And I was basically damned if I did or didn't. And of course, like Archfiend will point out in his video that he just did, this is pretty much the point where he jumped on and did all his stuff. And, of course, everybody else was doing it. So, it was just the thing to do. Even James around this time took another shot at me publicly. I guess he was at some expo thing, and someone asked him what he thought of the Irate Gamer. And his reply was, well, since he doesn't acknowledge my existence, I won't do that either. And all I could sit back and think was, wow, if you weren't such a dick to me, things would have been a lot different. I would have talked about you all the time and been more than happy to do so. But for a guy that's always undercutting me, and for someone who posted a private email to him online for basically everyone to laugh at and make fun of, what do you expect me to do? I mean, go on my YouTube channel and keep kissing his butt? I didn't see him as that same person anymore after that. And, I will say, for someone who is so concerned about copying, how come I've never seen a Let's Play video on his channel posted before PewDiePie came along? Yeah, I've never seen anyone make that observation. But I've been called out for a lot less, even if it was true or not. But at this point, it's kind of interesting because the tide was turning just a little bit. James was starting to do things, I think, that showed chinks in his armor. And a few, I should say haters of mine were starting to see the light, basically. And they're starting to see these things shine through, and they're going, wait a minute, something's not adding up here. Something's not right. And they're starting to see a side of James that I had seen from the beginning. Now, during this time as well, James was kind of doing things to me as well that I'm sure, just the regular people wouldn't pick up on. As you know, the Mario Brothers 2 review, he watched it. He told me he watched it. Shortly after that, he ended up making his Mario 3 review. And there's a lot of similarities in that review if you watch it. Both are set up like half documentary, half review. Both have like a satanic type theme to it, which I thought was interesting. There's just a lot of other similarities where if the tables were reversed, if I had done my Mario review after his Mario 3 review, I would have been dragged through the mud and for doing something like that. But yeah, it was just things like that. I would announce things that I wanted to review. I announced, I'm going to review Silver Surfer. He did it a month later. And then I announced, I'm going to do Superman. Superman 64. He did that a month later. So there came a point where I had to stop posting on my website the reviews that I wanted to do because James would always beat me to the punch. I did not have a lot of free time to work on this stuff like he did. I had a day job and whatnot. So I couldn't get to this stuff really fast. Another thing I want to talk about is the whole Rob the Robot controversy and just kind of clear the air here. Now, I guess James, at some point, ended up putting in the ending of his video that he was going to do Rob the Robot. It was foreshadowing the next episode because it popped up behind his back or something like that. At this point, I had stopped watching his videos. So I had no idea that he did this. Now, 3 or 4 days later, I ended up doing a Rob the Robot review. And people were screaming bloody murder. And saying that, the only reason he did this, Irate Gamer did this review is because he was going to do it first. And I just sat there going, wait, what? First of all, how can I put together a review like this in the matter of 3 or 4 days? It took me a good month to put this together. Second of all, I took a clip from the footage that I was working on, 2 months prior. It was in the intro of one of my videos. I think it was either the Cubert or the Predator video that I did, and put that right in the intro. So I myself was foreshadowing, I was doing Rob the Robot 2 months prior to James's video coming out. So I just sat there scratching my head like, what kind of people am I dealing with that they don't see this? So, again, with the whole hater thing, they just love to bitch just to bitch, basically. And they, they didn't care what was true. They just wanted to make me look bad, which, some people like to do today, despite if it's the truth or not. That was the main theme that was going on back then. Let's just, discredit him any way we can. And James always came out the victor. Even with, I think, the Odyssey, I had foreshadowed, it was the very first history of video games that I did. I had foreshadowed again, look, I'm going to do the Magnavox Odyssey. before I could get to it, he ends up reviewing the Magnavox Odyssey. So it was stuff like this I dealt with constantly. And if you don't believe me, it's like, well, why would he even review a system like this? It was such a departure from something like an Atari or a Nintendo game. And I hate having to reveal, I'm going to do this next, because James would always magically do it before I could get to it. And he would get to it, and then I would look like the bad guy when I got to it. Yeah, when when people like Asolari, even Archfiend, they were starting to catch on to this stuff and be like, hey, what the hell is with this guy? Why is he, he's making tons of money. Why is he making this Kickstarter for a movie? And, I just want to make it known that I don't fault him for using Kickstarter to do his movie. I mean, it seems like everybody's doing that these days, and there's a lot of great programs that show up on Kickstarter. Things like Reading Rainbow, which is, a great thing to bring to the public, because there's education always comes first in my mind. So programs like that are great. But I think when James does stuff like the Kickstarter for his movie, then the Kickstarter for Cheetah Men, is just, the way things just kind of transpired really went sour. And it was almost as if James was bragging, oh, look, I got this and this and this, and I've got tons of games. And, I was trying to make that clear in the parody, that's exactly what he did. I don't hate the guy. I was just pointing out and making fun of it. But, I mean, that's what a spoof is. So, I just find it interesting that with all these things, though, the certain people were starting to see that maybe all these people had put him up on a pedestal, and now they were second guessing their decision. And since they were softening up to this whole thing, then they started questioning, well, wait a minute. Is all this hater propaganda real? Is Chris Boris really, evil? Is he really copying him? Is he really doing this and that? During this time, I started getting emails from all these people who were once haters, just really wanting to know things and really asking, hey, wait a minute, is this true what happened? Because, I'm starting to think about this now. And all these things started coming to the surface. And they would ask me things like, oh, is this true or is this true? And I would tell them my side of the story. And for the most part, they would go, maybe Chris Boris is a nice guy. Because, prior to 2011, 2012, I didn't do too many videos where I was just, like this, like myself. It was always Irate Gamer, Irate Gamer, Irate Gamer. And I kept that personality going. I didn't really show, me and my natural state in front of the camera. And, YouTube has kind of evolved now where, angry reviewing has kind of lost steam, and celebrities are more watched than people like us. And, you evolve and you do more things. So I've kind of let my hair down a little bit, and you see me more natural now. But back then, people thought that I was that character. So it's kind of nice now knowing that people like, Asolari and Archfiend and a host of others. I'm sorry I'm blanking on names right now. But it's kind of nice to see that they've mellowed out and kind of seen my side and seen things for what they are. And if you still think I'm a douche, I'm sorry. It is what it is. If you want to hate me, go for it. But I'm very content with what I'm doing now. I know I'm doing a lot of Skylander things, and I'm doing a lot of ghost things outside of, YouTube, which, I'll be posting more of those during October. But, this is what I like doing. I have a lot of fun doing it. And I've always done the YouTube channel for myself. I'll probably do some history of video games in the future. One is actually filmed. I haven't really got to it yet, or well, had time to edit it down. But one's already filmed. It just needs edited. And I want to continue the Irate the 80s. It's just finding time right now. YouTube, like I said, it's not the same place it was before. And, I love to put more time and energy into the YouTube channel. But like I said, it's not the same YouTube that it was. And views are down all across the board. Unless you're the top, 10 or 20 YouTubers, views all across the board with partners have gone down. And, that just means I've got to spend more time on projects off YouTube. And, I also do things for the community and charity and all this other stuff. So, I've got to divide my time equally. And, so I hope to do more Irate the 80s in the future and history of video games and all this thing. But it's tough sometimes. So I try to do it in my spare time when I can. Because I know you guys are still craving it. But just know, there's going to be stupid little videos in between that you probably won't like. And that's all I could say. All right. This video has been a long time coming. I've thought about doing this video a lot of times in the past, but I was just like, I don't know. I don't know if it'll turn out well. But it's done. There's my side of the story. You can agree with it or not, but, I don't care at this point. All right, guys. Well, thank you for watching. It's been a hell of a run. I mean, geez, so many opportunities have opened up for me. I've learned so many new skill sets, like doing interviews, going to E3. That's so much fun. Having such great relationships with like Activision and Sega and Nintendo, and getting to do all these things was a lot of fun. And I've met a lot of interesting people as well. But I just want to make it clear that, I don't hate James. I've never hated James. I'm not the type of person to really hate anyone. That's not my nature. I just didn't agree with the way things all went down and how he dealt with things. Because, like I said, the whole reason I started doing this is because I saw that video where he said, yeah, I don't mind people doing the same thing I do. I find it flattering. And when he did all this stuff to me, I just thought to myself, well, he didn't care if anybody did this until somebody got popular from it. That's the only time it seemed to matter to him. But I'm not going to sit here and defend everything I've done, because look, I'm human. I make mistakes. And I'm sure there's things out there that I've done I can't remember right now that people are like, oh, blah, 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 blah. But look, if I offended anyone, I apologize. But, look, this is YouTube. This isn't, something like the movies or TV. It's YouTube. Get over it. All right, so in closing, I just want to say thank you to the fans for watching over the years. You've really seen me grow up, because my first batch of videos were kind of horrendous. And yeah, you guys have seen me grow up on camera over the past 7 years. So thank you. And, I do this stuff for the fun of it. That's pretty much all I've wanted to do is entertain people. And that's all I'll try to do in the future. So thanks again for watching. Love the fans. If it weren't for you guys, I wouldn't be here. So thanks again. And until next time, game on.